So when it comes to limits at infinity and infinite limits of exponential functions, the very first thing you need to consider here is, first, let's review the definition of limits at the exponential functions. Alam natin ang exponential functions ay bawal ang 1. Let's just have a quick review. Bawal ang 1, bawal magkaroon ng negative na base ang a. So, ibig sabihin, nagkaroon siya ng dalawang cases. The first case ay yung it's between 0 and 1, or yung isa naman is a that is greater than 1. To directly tell you, ang a that is greater than 1 will always be, okay? Kung ang x ay mag-i-increase, ang y din ay mag-i-increase. Yan ang sinasabi ng a that is greater than 1. Okay? Samantala, si a between 0 and 1, kabaliktaran ang ginagawa niya. Okay? When a is between 1 and 0, when x keeps on decreasing, ang y keeps on increasing. Yan ang ginagawa niya. When it comes to limit at infinity and infinite limit, bakit hindi ko binigay yung pababa ng dito sa a greater than 1? Bakit hindi ko binigay ang x approaching negative infinity? Kasi may rule yun. Hindi siya infinitely decreasing naman ng y. So ito lang ibibigay ko sa inyo as of the moment. Now, because of this idea, we also know that the domain or all allowed input values of exponential is a set of all real numbers. Wala siyang masyadong issue when it comes to input. Ang problema natin dito when it comes to the range. That is why it is placed in your module. Some examples. So let's try to consider f of x is equal to 2 raised to x plus 1. Okay? Kitang-kita natin dito, class, na kapag nag-i-increase infinitely ang x dito, y also increases infinitely. Well, parang common sense din yan, di ba? 2 raised to 1 versus 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3. O what if 2 raised to 10 na yan? Sobrang laki na. You have 2, 4, 8, only 2 raised to 10 is a large number already. So it means to say, class, it's but proven by tabulation that when you keep on increasing x, y keeps on decreasing. Pero why is it that when you keep on decreasing x, then y goes closer to 1? Okay, let me go directly to the point. The point here, class, kasi is 2 raised to x will never be negative, will never be 0. And when a number will never be 0, added to 1, then 1 will be a number that will be approached infinitely. I mean, ang x na yan, pag tuloy-tuloy mo siyang dinidecrease as an exponent, ay nilalapitan niya ang 0. It approaches 0. When you infinitely decrease the exponent of 2, ang gagawin ng value ng 2 raised to x, lalapitan niya ang 0. So kung nag-add ka ng 1 dito, I need to change this. So kung nag-add ka, so kung ang 2 raised to x gets closer to 0, what if you have 2 raised to x plus 1? Then that means now 0 plus 1. 1 ang matitira. Kaya nga ang sagot dito, it gets closer to 1. Ayan siya, it is 1. So ano ang ibig sabihin nito? During your general mathematics kasi, I know, kasi alam ko ang module ninyo sa general mathematics, pinag-aralan nyo ng maigi ang exponential functions. Ngayon, diretsuhin na natin sa point. That is why we have this rule. To formalize now the lecture on this, we have this rule. Kapag ang a ay mas malaki sa 1 at may isang constant na c, na kahit anong constant, okay, ang pwede daw nating sabihin, kapag you infinitely decrease, when you infinitely decrease this x here, c ang magiging limit. And class, I will go directly. Itong c na ito ay magiging isang horizontal asymptote with an equation y is equal to c. Can you remember your exponential functions wherein you are solving for horizontal asymptotes? The same is what we're doing here at limits of infinity. So I would like to request everyone to go back to your notes in general mathematics and review the asymptotes. Malaking bagay yun pagdating dito sa pag-aaral ng infinite limits at infinity and infinite limits. Samantala, kapag tuloy-tuloy mong i-increase naman ang x dito, ay walang pagbabago. It remains to be positive infinity. Kasi kung titignan natin yung graph, ano bang ginagawa ng graph? Kung tuloy-tuloy mo in-increase ang values ng x kay 2x plus 1, ang y ay tuloy-tuloy lang din na pag-increase. Yun ang sinasabi nito. Samantala, kapag tinicrease mo infinitely ang values ng y, okay, when you decrease the values of x, I mean infinitely, ang 2x plus 1 will approach 1. You know the reason? Because 2 raised to x keeps on approaching 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Kaya nga, don't ever assume that 2 raised to negative 1 million is 0. That is not 0, class. That is approximately 0. Not 0. So in the limit rule, dahil nga halos 0 yan, at nilalapitan niya ang 0, pwede mong i-assume that that's 0 in the limit process because it approaches 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1 is the number that being approached by 2 raised to x plus 1 as x keeps on decreasing infinitely. So to summarize that, we can say that when you see this, a raised to negative infinity, ang ibig sabihin nito, class, negative infinity, this says infinitely decreasing. So when you infinitely decrease the exponent of a and you add that to c, the answer is c. Ito ang limit. When you infinitely increase the exponent of a, then that's infinity also, positive infinity. Provided, class, that a is greater than 1. When you are reviewing, you should always go back sa definition. Hindi kasi pwede na nagre-review ka lang na hindi mo kinilala ang condition. In math, you will never understand what you are reading when you don't determine the condition. It is the condition that can help you understand what you are reading. Check the conditions. Okay, so let's have the examples. Tingnan mo yung number 1. X here keeps on decreasing. O, tingnan. X here keeps on decreasing. So ibig sabihin, you can have an illustration, x 5 raised to negative infinity, or x keeps on decreasing. That simply is 0, class. Ano bang constant nito? Ibig sabihin, you have an idea na parang plus 0 siya. If you don't see any constant, it is understood that there is 0. I hope that's clear. So kapag tinanong ka, what is the horizontal asymptote, your answer here, yes, horizontal asymptote, y is equal to 0 is the asymptote. And the limit is simply 0. Number 2. Okay. May bearing ba si negative sign? Let's check. So this becomes negative 9 raised to negative infinity. This becomes negative of 0. Is there a negative of 0? Wala. The answer is simply 0. And what's the equation of the horizontal line? Y is equal to 0. Okay. Number 3. Limit. This is negative infinity. So ibig sabihin 0, 0. Oh, kung 0 ito, 0. Naiwan ng negative 9. Kaya ito ay negative 9. And alam naman natin, class, na kapag lahat ng terms ay naging 0, si constant ang maiiwan. Kaya siya, the constant term will be left. Wala siyang epekto kay 0. The answer is the constant. Okay? Let's have number 4. Mamaya kayo naman na mag-try. Tinan nyo ni number 4. Negative infinity kasi ito. O dito, 0 lang. 0 plus 6, 6. I just placed the entire solution just for you to appreciate the process. 5 raised to infinity is actually 0. I showed here yung naghiwalay yung operation kasi that is already the sum of dito, the sum of limits. I'm just applying the sum of limits. Here, plus. Kaya may plus dito. Okay, I hope you follow that. Now, number 5. Okay. Tandaan natin, class, na paano kung nagkaroon ng exponent na hindi lang x and you can have x minus 3. Hindi kayo dapat ma-discourage na isolve ang ganyang problem. Katulad nito number 5. You see that there is x minus 1. Ano naman kung may x minus 1? Eh kung infinitely decreasing ang x na yan, pwede mong sabihin negative infinity minus 1. This is still negative infinity. So ang ending nito ni 9.3 raised to x minus 1 is still 9.3 raised to negative infinity. It is still like that. So what about kay dito? This becomes negative infinity plus 1, which means a negative infinity plus 1 is still negative infinity. So you have 5 raised to negative infinity, and this is minus 7. 0 lang to. This is also 0. O di ang sagot ay negative 7. You see how quick it is, class? That is exponential. Kaya ang sagot dyan, negative 7 lang pa. Very fast lang. Okay? O inspect natin number 6. Abangan mo na kapag negative yan, ibig sabihin 0. Negative infinity, magsi-0. Yun ang nasa isip mo kapag exponential. Kapag yan naman ay positive infinity, this will become 4 raised to positive infinity. Is positive infinity. A positive infinity added to 3 is positive infinity. Kaya ito ay positive infinity pa. Okay? Ang ano naman, ang iisipin mo dito, class, kung ang 0 ay add mo sa isang constant, ang sagot ay yung constant. Pero kung ang infinity ay add mo or subtract mo sa isang constant, infinity pa rin ang sagot. I hope hindi kayo mawala dun, ha? 0 plus 2 is 2. But infinity plus 2 is infinity. Yun ang sinasabi niyo. Kaya ito, this is infinitely increasing plus 3. Ang sagot mo pa rin dyan is positive infinity. Okay? So what else? Number 7. E is still part of a base that is greater than 1 because E is approximately 2.7. So E raised to an exponent that keeps on increasing is also a function that keeps on increasing. So positive infinity then added to 2 is positive infinity. Okay, tingnan naman natin si number 3. Ito positive pero nakabantay ito si minus or negative. Kaya tandaan mo, negative times positive is negative. Number 9, nakabantay ulit si negative. This is positive. Negative times positive is negative. Okay. Walang kwenta si minus 11 kasi nga infinity ito. Negative infinity. And in number 10, okay, nakabantay ulit si negative. So you have here positive and negative is negative. Negative. So, it might appear na mahirap siya, class, kapag tignan mo yung problem. Parang ang hirap, ganun. Pero when you are now aware that infinity added or subtracted to any constant is still infinity, you are also aware that negative times positive infinity is negative. Ano pa yung mga dapat mong tandaan? Sa mga ganito, actually itong dalawang ito, or tatlo sila, alam mo, ito yung lagi yung tatandaan, class. Malaki yung tulong ng dalawang yan. Wag na wag lang kayo mag-interpret that 0 plus 2 is 0 kasi nag-overthink ka na. Infinity is not 0. They are not the same. Because infinity is not a number. So when you add a number to infinity, infinity is still. Kasi nga infinity is not a number. Hindi siya dapat isama. Infinity is a behavior. Okay? So, to check if you understood these problems, let me have, okay? Balikan natin. Kapag negative ang exponent, so parang ito yung sinasabi niya kasi. Pwede tayo mag-ano dito. mag-generalize. Gawa tayo ng glue. Pag negative ang exponent at ang a ay greater than 1, 0. Kahit sabihin mo na negative pa yung a na yan, 0 pa rin yan. Kasi negative times 0 is 0. Pag ang a ay naka-raise sa positive infinity at ang a ay mas malaki sa 1, ang sagot ay positive infinity. And I guess you're now ready to solve the 5 problems. On the 5 problems that I will give, you just need to comment. Okay, noted na dapat yan. Here are the 5 problems. Your answer is A, negative infinity, B, positive infinity, C, 0, D, D&E, E, if this is a real number, then comment the real number as your answer. Okay, number 1. Number 1, what is the limit of negative 3 raised to x plus 2 as x approaches negative infinity? Number 2, what is the limit of 5 raised to x minus 1 plus 5 as x approaches positive infinity? Number 3, what is the limit of 10 raised to x plus 10 raised to x minus 1 as x approaches negative infinity? Number 4, what is the limit of 39 minus 7 raised to x minus 1 or plus 1 as x approaches negative infinity? And in number 5, what is the limit of 7 raised to x squared as x approaches negative infinity? Okay, let me know your answers. You just need to comment your answers. I'm giving you 20 seconds to provide the answers. Comment A if it's negative infinity, B if it's positive infinity, C if it's 0, D kapag D and E, or give the real number corresponding answer if none of the 4 choices. Di yung nakikita sa 4 choices ang sagot. So 20 seconds. I am now reading your answers. Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, sagutan na natin. Number 1, you have to inspect. Una, this is negative. So, what will happen? Kakaroon ka ng negative 3 raised to negative infinity plus 2. This will become 0. So 0 plus 2 is 2. The answer for number 1 must be 2. Next, let's move to number 2. Ito, positive infinity. So, anong gagawin nito? This will become 5 raised to a positive infinity, which is equal to positive infinity. So, wala lang ito. Because when that is added to 5, this is still positive infinity. The answer for number 2 must be B. Number 3, so ito, magiging 10 raised to negative infinity. Ito din, magiging negative infinity. So, anong sagot natin dyan? Number 3, the answer is 0. Or that is simply C. Kasi binigay natin sa choices. That must be C. But the value of this one is 0. Number 4, limit of 39 minus 7 raised to x plus 1. This will become negative infinity. So 39 minus 7 raised to negative infinity is 39 minus 0. The answer is 39. Number 4, that must be 39. Oh, wow! Nagagaling ninyo, nakukuha ninyo. Okay, now let's have number 5. Number 5, you might be deceived. Baka ma-deceive kayo. Nakita mo kasi itong negative infinity, baka kala mo 0 ito. Tandaan mo, this is x squared. So when x keeps on increasing, hindi ganito ang itsura niya. O x keeps on increasing, ano magagyari kay x squared? Magiging positive infinity. So the answer for number 5 is, that is positive infinity. Letter B. Okay, very good. So nakikita ko, di ba nagagamit na natin yung mga negative infinity raised to 2, raised to 3 is negative infinity, ganyan. Negative infinity raised to an even number is positive infinity. Nagagamit na natin ang mga ito, class. Odd versus even. Okay? Now, let's move to the next case. Now, what if we have a base that is less than 1 but greater than 0? Okay? Then, for example, we have 1/3. 1/3 is between 0 and 1. Tama? Pero with the rule of exponent, pwede natin siyang gawing 3 raised to negative 1. Isn't it? So we have 3 raised to negative 1. That's it. Okay. Kapag ang isang base mo ay less than 1 but greater than 0. I-expect mo class na kapag pa-increase ang x, ang y ay pa-decrease ang x, ang y ay mag-i-increase. Samantala, kapag pa-increase ang x, ang y ay mag-a-approach sa isang number na constant. So, sa case na to ng graph ni 3 raised to negative x plus 2, papunta siya sa 2 na constant. Pero ang tanong siguro, ano ang kinalaman nito? Kasi nakita mo, 3 na yung base. So, 3 raised to negative x. Kita mo? This is 3. Okay. Let's clarify that later. Makikita nyo yung posible maging blue. So, it means to say, class, if A is between 0 and 1 and C is any constant, you can have the following. Una, kapag ang x ay tuloy-tuloy sa pag-decrease, ang y ay mag-increase. Ito yung sinasabi nating x increasing, y increasing. Ito yung sinasabi natin. Pero dito naman, kapag i-increase mo infinitely naman ang x, ang ginagawa niya ay papunta sa constant na c. So when x keeps on increasing infinitely, y gets closer to that c. Kaya nga, pwede daw natin i-restate yung sinasabi ng rule that when a is in between 1 and 0, then when you keep on increasing negative infinity, when you keep on decreasing, the exponent of a, papunta yan sa positive infinity, ang y. Pero kapag in-increase mo ang exponent ng a, take note, this is the condition, a is between 0 and 1. You keep on increasing a, ang bibigay naman sa iyo na exponent na value magsi-0 siya. So 0 plus c, c. Okay? So intindihin natin. So to give you a picture of that class, ito yung condition. Pero sasabihin ko mamaya kung ano ba yung dapat mong intindihin. Gagawin mo pa ba? Paano kung gawin mo na lang itong 3? Base 3 tapos negative x. Okay. Ito yung mga i-realize natin mamaya. Halimbawa, ito class. X approaches negative infinity. Magbabaliktad yan. Dahil ang base mo ay less than 0, less than 1 or greater than 0. Kung negative ito, positive ang gagawin. Tandaan nyo yan. Okay? Kung negative ito, okay, ang negative infinity, when x approaches negative infinity, y increases. Kapag ang x ay nag-increase infinitely, y gets closer to that constant c. Ito, increasing infinitely. So ito ay magiging positive infinity. Positive minus 9. Wala lang itong negative 9. The answer is positive infinity. Again, this is negative infinity, pero nakabantay ang negative. This must be positive infinity, no? Dahil may negative doon or minus, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng, ayan, negative infinity. What else? In number 4, we have here negative infinity. So ito ay positive lang, that is less than 1 to, no? And then you have here, this is positive infinity. So i-plus mo sa 5, hindi wala lang itong 5. Answer is positive infinity. Number 5. Negative infinity. This becomes positive infinity. Kaya ito ay positive infinity. Okay. Number 6, this is still negative infinity. Negative, negative. So dapat yan ay positive infinity, no? Minus positive infinity. Kaya ito naging negative. Wala nang bearing itong si constant. Number 7, ito si number 7. Positive infinity naman ang ginagawa ng x. Pero ang base mo ay less than 1. So ito ay 0. So 0 plus 2, yun 2. Okay? Number 8. Ito. This is 0. Okay? And this is 1. Bakit ito nag-0? Kasi itong x plus 2 class, tignan mo ulit yung galaw ng exponent. Sa x plus 2, positive lang kasi ang x. Ibig sabihin, positive infinity din. Okay? You have to be careful. Iba kasi yung ibig sabihin ng 1 plus 0.5 raised to 2 minus x. Dahil kapag si 2 minus x ka na nag-focus, this is a positive infinity. Pag dito ka na nag-focus, meron kang 2 minus positive infinity. Hindi magkakaroon ka ng 2 minus infinity. This is negative infinity. So, iba na yung kwento ng 0.5 raised to infinity dahil ang sagot nila dyan ay positive infinity. No longer 0. Yun ang gusto kong emphasize sa number 8. So, conscious kayo lagi sa exponent. Okay? I-identify nyo kung paano mag-behave ang exponent habang nag-i-increase ang values of x. So, ito, this will become 0. So, the answer is 2.56. Kasi x minus 2 lang to. Just positive numerical. The same with number 10. Okay? 0 lang din yan. So, ulitin natin. Kapag ang x keeps on increasing, ang y ay asahan mong nag-i-increase din. Kapag ang x ay patuloy sa pag-decrease, ang y ay papunta sa constant. More likely, 0 ang sagot. Pero you have to be conscious the exponent always. Okay? This strategy can also help. Let me share to you a strategy. For example, the given is 1/5 raised to x minus 1. So, let's say x approaches positive infinity here. Pag ginamit mo yung rule ng x approaches positive infinity, naminado ka na ang sagot mo dito is this is now raised to positive infinity. Wala ka naman nakikitang constant na term. So, ang sagot mo dito is 0. So, paano kapag nire-write mo, tinan mo yung relasyon nilang dalawa. Paano kung nire-write mo si 1/5, naging 5 raised to negative 1 siya? 5 raised to negative 1 times x minus 1 will now give you 5 raised to negative of x minus 1, which is equal to 5 raised to negative x plus 1. And when you now integrate, x keeps on increasing infinitely. You now have 5 raised to negative, okay, this is positive infinity. Okay, bali wala na ang 1, walang bearing. So meron kang 5 raised to negative infinity. Ang gusto kong i-emphasize dito, class, tinan nyo yung ginagawa. No? Ang base natin dito, 1/5. Pero ang base mo dito ay 5. Ano ang assumption? Pwede nyong gawin na i-rewrite nyo from 1/5 magiging 5 siya. So dito, ang ginamit mo dito, yung rule ng a that is greater than 1. Ito naman ang rule ng a that is between 1 and 0. Specific kasi yung rule, class, na sa base a ka mag-focus, sabi niya. So, pero pag ginalaw mo yung base, from 1/5 nga, ginawa mo ng 5, using the rule of exponent, maapektuhan din. No? Pwede kang bumalik sa definition ng a that is greater than 1. Bakit? Kasi nga, nilabas mo na itong 5. So, pwede na siya mag-fall sa a greater than 1. Ang titignan mo na lang kung paano mag-behave ang exponent. Ang sabi ng rule, no? According to the rule, dito kay base na less than 1 but greater than 0, when x keeps on increasing, ang y will get closer to a constant. Dito ang constant natin 0. Kasi parang may assumption tayo na plus 0 dito. Ang assumption naman ni a greater than 1, when x keeps on increasing, y also does the same. But when x keeps on decreasing, y gets closer to a constant. Ang constant natin dito ay parang may plus 0. Kaya ang sagot mo dyan is simply, the answer here is simply 0. Can you get that? Another. Pinasolve ka, 2/3 raised to x plus 2. When x keeps on decreasing. Oh, yes, decreasing. Not unless class, not unless nalilito ka sa ganito. Kasi when x keeps on decreasing, alam mo naman na y keeps on increasing. Pabaliktad siya. Ang ibig kong sabihin dito sa dalawang relasyon na to, kung ang gusto mong i-memorize na lang ay itong part na to, ang gusto mo lang i-memorize. Pero kung namamaster mo naman ang rule na x is less than 1 but greater than 0, then pwede ka lang bumalik sa rule na yan. Okay? So, if you find it convenient to rewrite the given into its corresponding base that is greater than 1, then why not? Nasaan na yun? Ayan siya. Okay? So, parang ito. Pag diretsuhin mo, alam mo naman kasi when x keeps on increasing, then y keeps on increasing too. So, ang sagot mo dito is positive infinity plus 2. This is equal to tama ba? Negative infinity? Okay, the answer is positive infinity. Okay. And, well, again, suggestion kung binabalak nyo naman na i-rewrite mo siya. So, parang ito. Itong si 3/2, pwede mo siyang i-reciprocal. So, magiging 3/2. So, naka-raise yan sa negative 1. And then, naka-raise pa siya sa x. Gets? So, ibig sabihin, when you get the reciprocal of a number, alimbawa itong 1/2 class, ang reciprocal niya, pwede mo siyang i-rewrite. I-rewrite mo siya into 2 raised to negative 1. So, ang 3/2, okay? Ang 3/2, pag ni-raise mo, 3/2, ni-raise mo sa negative 1, ang ibig sabihin niyan, that will become 1/2/3. 1/3/2, which is equal to 2/3. So, babalik ka dito. Ang suggestion ko lang kung saan ka convenient. Okay? So, you have here now, so negative. So, magiging 3/2 raised to negative x na siya. Substitute yung negative infinity. So, you have 3/2. 3/2 is already 1.5. Negative of negative infinity. This now becomes 3/2 raised to positive infinity, making your answer as positive infinity. Now, again, kung saan ka convenient. So, kung gusto natin i-rewrite dito ang number 1, kung gusto mong itong number 1, dahil nakikita mo this is less than 0, less than 1, I mean, pwede siyang mag-rewrite into, instead na x ito, di ba? This is x, pwede mo siyang kunin. Positive yung nakikita mo, negative x. So, a negative of negative infinity is positive infinity. Kaya ito, positive infinity. What else? Nasaan yung may negative? Okay, gawa tayo ng isang problem. Let's say, for example, if you have 0.5 raised to negative x plus 1, halimbawa. Tapos, x keeps on decreasing. So, di-mention na dito ka na dyan. Pero, pag sinubstitute mo yan, negative 5 raised to negative infinity plus 1. The answer is 0.5 raised to positive infinity plus 1. This is 0.5 raised to positive infinity. The answer here is when x keeps on increasing, the denominator the exponent keeps on increasing, the whole exponential number will become 0. Pero kung halimbawa, pinili mong i-rewrite siya, you feel like writing it the other way around, then this will become from negative x plus 1, magiging x minus 1 na lang siya. So, i-negate mo yan. So, this becomes x minus 1. Substitute mo ang negative infinity. So, you have negative infinity minus 1 is negative infinity. So, what is a base that the 1/2 magiging 2 na to? Because 0.5 is 1/2. So, magiging 2 raised to negative 1 na siya. Kaya yung negative na yan, multiply mo sa negative x plus 1. Kaya nagkaroon ka ng 2 raised to negative infinity. It is simply 0. So, to generalize, kung gusto mo lang naman na ito na lang sana yung i-memorize mo. When x keeps on increasing and y keeps on increasing also. When x keeps on decreasing, then y keeps on approaching a constant. Kung ang gusto mo mangyari, ito na lang ang i-memorize mo. A greater than 1. So kung gusto mo na ito lang ang i-master mo para mabawasan yung mga mini-memorize mo, pakatandaan mo na kapag ang base mo ay isang less than 1, baliktarin mo lang ang, okay? Baliktarin mo. I-negate mo ang exponent. Negate the exponent. Okay? So, kung ang exponent mo originally is, halimbawa, ang exponent mo 0.75, halimbawa, ang exponent mo ay negative x, i-negate mo pa yan. So, negative of negative x becomes x. Tapos sa x na yan, doon ka na mag-focus. If x keeps on increasing, di magiging positive infinity ito. So, halimbawa, ang base mo na ngayon ay, siyempre ang base mo na ngayon ay greater than 1 kasi nga reciprocal na ito. Ang reciprocal ng lahat ng numbers na less than 1 ay mas malaki sa 1. 1/2, hindi naging 2. Okay, ganun yung ibig sabihin. So, when a raised to positive infinity, ang sagot mo ay positive infinity. Which is also true naman, class, if you have 0.75 raised to negative x, where x keeps on increasing, then you now have 0.75 raised to negative infinity. Sagot mo pa rin naman ay positive infinity. Suggestion lang naman, class, kung gusto nyo na iisa lang ang i-memorize mo, ito na lang ang i-memorize mo, then pwede mong baliktarin